Tony Cocuzza's degree in psychology has probably helped him more in his 4 years of poetic misadventure than in his 33 years as a social worker. He admits to publishing success in music reviews for 21 years in the Reading Eagle, and in his current music blog and Amazon.com since 2009. He will do his best to entertain you without song, dance, or shadow pictures. Put your hands together for Tony Cocuzza.
Yes, as Liz said, right, my area of writing was music, And of course, at one time I actually wrote several unpopular songs. And the thing I noticed about conventional songwriting is that you're supposed to rhyme, at the end of the line. So when I finally started taking poetry courses, I realized I had to think of, I was trying to avoid rhyming. So my first poem deals with that subject. It's an introductory thing. It's called About Rhymes. Closer, okay.
There you go.
About rhymes. There must be a reason why some words rhyme while others stand alone. When I see a child observing the world, I understand why youth rhymes with truth. Shriek rhymes with meek. That is just wishful thinking, but they will not inherit the earth by merely making noise. A closer look reveals that frown is the proper rhyme for clown, and too often, shame does rhyme with fame. Contrary to suburban legend, institution does not rhyme with prostitution, although maybe it should. Magic and tragic, must I explain? There are no rhymes for anger and failure, so poets should avoid these words. Sincerity stands rhymeless and alone, like the proud gift that it offers. And my eternal search is to find a reason why lust should rhyme with trust. Whenever I see those British movies, it seems like the British, at least in these old movies, they're always so polite. They queue up or something. Queue up. So this has nothing to do with that, but it's called lines. Lines. Too many lines. They can become tangled and broken. Lines are drawn. Don't cross them, or you will hear an ugly sound. Lines in the sand can be erased by the ever-changing wind. I've stood in lines calmly in a restroom, or in a room of unrest. A point extended to eternity becomes a line, and that line extended becomes a plane. Not nearly as plain as the lines in my face. They can tell you something. The lines in my face, if you want to be my friend, you won't read between them. One very important, I think, and legitimate subject matter to poetry and of literature of all types is when people talk about how they were, or someone was discriminated against, because of race, ethnic background, body type, social preference, horoscopic sign, whatever, And for me, my only experience with that would have been as a child, as an Italian, born, but not born in Italy, but my grandparents were. But the early things about Italians, stereotypes. So here's my attempt at doing such a thing. It's called, as you would guess, WAPs. Some people would call us WAPs. That didn't bother me, because I knew what WAP really meant. Although I did not understand the term spaghetti bender, It doesn't stay straight when anyone cooks it. They had a blustered way of saying Italians with unfriendly emphasis on the I. They suggested that we used our hands too frequently for illicit activity, to grasp a victim's wallet or a woman's buttock, and to make agitated conversation. When I talk with my hands, I do my best not to curse or lie. I have not fulfilled the proper image they sought. No overbearing neck chains or black band lines stretched by red wine paunch. No punch-drunk vocabulary. The trunk of my car contains nothing of interest. A gym bag and rusting jumper cables. Not a suitcase filled with cash and contraband or a deadbeat squealer. So they trusted me enough to pay taxes, to serve in their army, and to toil in obscurity as a social worker. The ones who call us WAPs, they should be grateful. We did not seek our freedom through an ancient trek across a boiling desert or a bloody and pointless civil war. And so they have rewarded us with 40 mules and an acre. I try not to use the subject of dreams too much because that's kind of a cheap way out in culture, I think. Say this was a dream and it was a dream, but I can never even attempt to control dreams. I think it's just something interesting to talk about, but it's not really under your control. So there was someone who's probably not in the audience that wanted me to do this poem, but I'm going to do it anyway. Not here. It's called Stolen Dream. Someone has stolen my dream. It was here just a moment ago, under my warm pillow, where it should have safely thrived, with its clear, bright tones and hand-holding hope. Schoolboy stares across some crowded space, beautiful bowls of stoneless, hedonistic fruit. Someone has stolen my dream and rudely replaced it with another, a perpetually cruel assembly line of unkempt thoughts and unkept intentions. Impatient strokes on a musty wall, and the aftermath of problems unresolved. Slip stealthily under my icy pillow on the cold, flat wasteland of my insomnia. But I really prefer daydreaming, because there you have some control. You sit there, you can think of whatever you want to think about. Some of it may come true, or at least you get some starting point to something, So this is called Daydream. My daydream is a silent movie under my control, not bound and gagged by flesh or fantasy. I can avoid the drastic belch of a tuba and flee in terror when I see one. A eulogy delivered by a mime. It is a prelude to a legacy of difficult highs and easy virtue. What I cannot avoid is the woeful silence of two lovers being unfair to each other. Chivalry is not dead, though sometimes it smells that way. My favorite stars have fallen from an ungrateful sky into a twisted, inglorious heap. I'm not as moonproof as I appear. For this daydream, I am the smiling projectionist. Well, I've only written about 3 poems that have anything to do with theology or religion or whatever, because I don't ever like to be accused of questioning someone's faith in a specific religion or belief, But I do like to make some general observations about religion occasionally to think about. So this one is called, and I switched this today. This is something more obnoxious than I was going to do. This should suffice. It's called Sacred Cow. I have not seen it, but I am told there's a sacred cow living behind the house. No matter how hungry the world becomes, that cow can't be slaughtered. That cow can't be exploited for dairy products or slaughtered for food. Only the faithful are allowed to ride it through sunny streets and cheering crowds, or capture its sacred image to adorn the bedroom wall or the bathroom floor. Only the faithless would say that its power and glory have not brought joy to the hopeless or brought the innocent back from the dead. I am told there is a sacred cow living behind the house, smirking in bovine contentment and smoking a low-tar cigarette. Well, this next group of poems, 3 of them very short. I woke up this morning and said, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do these. But I thought, well, I'll just use it as a point that I try to make about any kind of writing, writing in the first, second, or third person. I always get this puzzling thing in my head. It's like, well, if someone writes in the first person, the listener or reader has a tendency to think that's exactly what that person feels, and maybe I couldn't feel that way, that person. So it's so ingrained and living inside of them, joy, sorrow, discontentment, optimism, whatever. And I think, I think you can interchange all 3 persons, really. If you think about it, it'll still be valid. So here's my examples here. 1,000 secrets. I have countless clever things to say and 1,000 secrets to hide. Those clever things are like well-fed, chattering birds fluttering away from my head to inflict momentary joy upon the lives of the unsuspecting. It's those many secrets which weigh upon my head, like a necklace of cement, once worn proudly, now pulling my eyes toward the desolate ground, until I could no longer look up to see those birds, famished, fluttering in confusion, and singing out of tune. Now let's see, I'm moving to the third person here somehow. I don't even know what to call this one. It was a typical street disagreement between an ancient Egyptian who will carry his wealth into the afterlife and a Pacific Northwest Indian who will give it all away. He steps into a crowded, noisy room, glides past fading conversations like the Doppler effect, or the last line of a desperate, scribbled note. When trapped by demanding disclosure, be it engaging or enraging, he delivers his clever hand grenade and retreats to the sanctuary of sugar and salt and grown-up intoxicants to clarify his mental plans. He expected to live a rich and ugly life and be given a chance to die penniless and pretty. Okay, let's hear it. Back to the second person. What will become of you? What will become of you when the charming bad habits of your youth become stale eccentricities? Your pulsating wit, once admired, will be viewed as destructive sarcasm. Enthusiasm turns rabid, vigilance becomes mistrust, and self-awareness is shoved rudely aside by eye-twitching paranoia. When blushing modesty regresses into cringing shame, it is then that you will become someone else. Now I'm more grim than Liz always said, if I do a rant, I'm not a loud, yelling sort of a person. So I agree with you there. But anyways, I've been trying to find an ATM, this is an ATM, that has something other than $20 bills, which I think, and if you go to a big city, they're civilized there, and they do give you something other than $20 bills. But around here, you only get $20 bills, I think most anywhere. And it's what I see in the $20 bill that I don't like, you know, I have to look at. So this is called $20 Hero. This is prose, I guess you could say. As I stand in front of a money machine, I am reminded America is a great place to be. Plastic card, push some buttons, and you are rewarded with a tray of $20 bills. Not the 5s and 10s that I need to help a hustling waitress or a desperate entertainer. Only $20 bills adorned with the face of President Andrew Jackson, American hero. A noble face with a recent hairstyle change, clearly the victim of a cosmetology 101 mishap. The oppressive general in clumsy expansionist wars, he vowed to abolish the abolitionists and fix the laws to ensure the perpetual struggle of the slave. And congratulations, Mr. Jackson. You crushed the will of the Native American, turned Cherokee against Creek, stealing their land, their lives, and their children's future, and banishing them to their westward doom. Your gift to the eastern cities, neglect, hopeless streets and filthy factories, epidemics of typhoid and cholera. But who was harmed? Not your elitist friends and cronies, only the poor and bewildered, those of the wrong race or gender, and therefore powerless to vote against you. And flowing from your lips, a constant stream of flattery aimed at the common man. How quickly I flew away from that money machine, stuffing that pile of Jacksons into my waiting wallet. After all, America is a great place to be. This is not the 1820s, and I am not a Native American or a slave. I am a common man, deceived by revisionist history, and a target of flattery once again. I will spend that money as quickly as possible. For there is one thing that Jackson, this $20 hero with silly hairdo, has taught me. I must enjoy what I have while I have it, for someone's hero will surely try to take it away. Jackson, right on. I have to keep looking. Well, I don't know, and some people here might remember this. I remember I loved really going to the Reading Fair as a child. The Reading Fair, it was so spectacular and far-reaching. And as a young man or young boy, you know, I saw many things there that I saw for the first time. You know, the extremes of human behavior, and amongst the employees there, the people attending, there's a lot of things that I found to be strange, and I've thought about in later years, you know. So I just generally picked up some of my images here, and I wrote this and I called it Carnival. Okay. Call it a circus, or call it a carnival. I'm not the only one who has been attracted to run away and join its magic life. To endure long days of menial labor, rewarded by 3 lukewarm showers per month. I wanted to choke happily on its unstable air and live amongst its curiosities, animals in tasteless attire, pushed to move in frantic circles and perform ghastly tricks. Big people, 8 feet tall and 400 pounds wide. Little people, I could watch them argue and eat and kiss and throw firecrackers, usually aimed at the big people. Juggling acrobats and high wire acts scoffing at death and making me dizzy and forget my troubles. Clowns, too many of them, piling out of a tiny car with big rounded shoes, edged tears, and sad squirting flowers. Scowling laborers, applying more grease to their hair, and the toxic food they serve, than to the aching joints of the dangerous metal amusements. One man so brave yet so demented, to seek that rare fame, or being shot from a cannon. Spinning wheels of chance, games of chance, with no chance to win. The living marvels of an old-fashioned freak show. The bearded lady and snake boy, long before the theories of Freud became fashionable. Long before stealthy tent-flap voyeurism during the girly show. Those things that only they possessed could make you smile or frown, but did not know how easily they could ruin a man. Many years later, I rise and splash my weary face, listen to the news and glance out the window. Call it a circus, or call it a carnival. I have lived amongst its curiosities. I am unable to exhale its corrupted fumes. Long ago, its tragic, its magic, life ran away with me. Okay. Well, of course, the other part of that would be magicians. You know, when I was a kid, I probably marveled at what they did. Not that I really believed they did what you thought they did. It was very clever. Whatever the trick was, to me, that was the clever part of it, not what they appeared to do. So that's not the type of magic that most people are really looking for. So this is called magic gone. That magic, where is it gone? The magic that reached out from a confident stage to wide-eyed youth and brain-weary grown-ups equally transfixed by wily, slick-haired men in tuxedos and the shiny, smiling cleavage of their lovely assistants. Sawing a woman in half? Is half a woman better than none? I've had little success with either half. Disoriented rabbits pulled from an ordinary hat, liberated birds flying from the folds of a fancy handkerchief. How did these creatures perform their daily functions within those showbiz cages? Astounding card tricks. There's only one chance in 52 that I can even shuffle the deck without littering the floor. And ventriloquists, outwitted by their deadpan dummies. That other magic, where is it gone? The magic that can emulate from within and allow a person to overcome self-centered moral division, greedy manipulation of words and ideas, cultural confinement, and the shuffling of fortune by the unjust. It is not my fault that the magic has gone. It is my fault if I lack the courage to chase after it. I misplaced a poem. I was going to do it now, but when I look out in the audience, I see a person who didn't really want me to use that word, and I'm not going to mention names. So, well, I'll try and I'll do it a little bit easy on the audience, or I'll do this recent one, something about time I didn't really name it. Some clever person invented time, not the flotsam of cliches following in its wake. Is time on our side? More often, it is involved in a tick-tock plot against us. Time, what can we do with it? We can save time, and probably forget its hiding place, or throw away time so that no one can use it. Time has provided us with landmarks of anxiety, a day of decision, an hour of need, a moment of doubt. Some will say that time flies. A large, indifferent bird, don't stand under it. As often as we are accused of killing time, we won't be doing time upstate as a result. For its many violations, time remains unpunished. When time stands still, it is not cited for loitering. And Father Time offers no support or fatherly advice to his struggling offspring. It is only when time is precious and unforgettable that it proves to be a benevolent overseer. Well, this is my last scheduled poem here. The audience, I won't say begging for more, but begging is probably against the line. Well, first, I want to preface this by saying, I've only been writing poetry for about 4.5 years. And I've been going to the bards and First Thursdays for like 3.5 years, and people have tolerated my poetry pretty well. But I really like the other poets. I don't read many poetry books by famous people. I should be ashamed to admit that, but I do like the poetry I hear from the people here. Many of them are published poets, which I'm not, but I really admire what they do, and it's a great variety of experience, something I really have enjoyed. And when they write about something that I feel like I'm not good at that, I say, boy, I admire the way they can write about something in particular that I would not feel comfortable with. So here's my poem, which could have been first or last, but it's last. It's called Exposition. When I sit down to write, I'm unable to write about these things. The first-time discovery of a wide-eyed child, or rowing serenely across Walden Pond in nature's bountiful embrace. Cherished pets, like family members, who don't argue at holiday meals. The sadly departed, fading slowly, wearing their favorite clothing, sitting in their favorite chair. The invincibility of romance, or a cold, empty space on the bed. Their beautiful misty dreams and the eye-twitch confusion that follows when they speak of corporate greed, starving children, and gluttonous adults. Their socio-political tongue swallowing is acceptable. Their words are more optimistic than my own. When I stand up to recite, there's no need to cover my head. The sky is dark, but it is not falling. I clear my throat, tap on the microphone, then release a flow of concepts. Some staggering, some stagnant. Cerebral finger-pointing and snake-bitten introspection. Barely glancing up at the small audience. Some are looking at message machines. Some are looking down at their functional shoes. Or an imaginary ornament on the wall behind my head. At the end, there may be polite clapping, a wavering gasp, or a gulp that can be heard in East St. Louis. And later, murmuring debate over glass half empty, glass half full theory. A few will admire what I tried to say, or my stylish method of trying to say it. Fewer still will observe I have left the glass uncracked, still standing.